may not see another trade in our life as bad as the Titans trading away A.J. Brown entering his prime just to draft a bust, Treylon Burks. A.J. Brown was only 24 years old at the time and looked like he could be an ascending star NFL wide receiver, although at the time he was nowhere close to what he would become with the Eagles. But regardless, during the 2022 NFL Draft, Brown ended up getting traded to the Eagles from the Titans for 2 picks. One of those picks being the 18th overall pick, where Tennessee took Treylon Burks out of Arkansas, who was often compared to Brown. It was clear that they didn't want to pay him, and it was just better to go with the younger guy. But that was obviously a huge mistake. A.J. Brown has since turned into a top NFL wide receiver, had 2 seasons with over 1,400 yards, and won a Super Bowl. Treylon Burks, however, has just had under 700 career receiving yards in 3 years and was just waived by the Titans. That other pick that they got in the trade was a 3rd-round pick that ended up getting traded to the Jets. It's safe to say that it was an all-time heist looking back. A.J. Brown certainly wasn't the same dude that we've seen in Philly, but man, even just trading a young 1,000-yard receiver for a single first, only for him to be a complete bust at the same position, is truly brutal. Treylon Burks ended up being awful, while A.J. Brown has just continued to get better. Trading away A.J. Brown for Treylon Burks, even at the time in 2022, made 0 sense. But now it's literally one of the worst draft day trades in NFL history. Season by season, it feels like Titans fans were anxiously awaiting Treylon Burks to have a breakout season that would just never come. He was supposed to be the guy to fill the shoes of A.J. Brown, but it just never happened. There truly are countless reasons as to why Treylon Burks failed in the league, but to truly understand it all, we gotta go a bit back. Treylon Burks went to high school at Warren, Arkansas, where he was a 3-sport athlete along with basketball and baseball. Obviously, he was the best at football though. He had 151 receptions for 3,403 yards and 43 touchdowns, but did miss most of his senior year because of a torn ACL. Still, he was a 4-star recruit, the number 1 guy in Arkansas, and number 21 wide receiver in the country. He decided to stay local and go to Arkansas, where he committed to play for Chad Morris, but Morris got fired during Burks' freshman year, and then Sam Pittman took over the job. As a true freshman, Burks had 29 receptions for 475 yards. He improved each season in Fayetteville, and probably had a better quarterback each season too. Then, as a sophomore, played 8 games with 820 yards and 7 touchdowns on 51 receptions. Then, his junior year was his clear best season. Burks had 66 receptions for 1,104 yards and 11 touchdowns. He was first team All-SEC after he had been second team the 2 years prior, and also made the All-Freshman team in 2019. Burks never played in a bowl game at Arkansas though. They went 5-17 his first 2 years there, and then they had their bowl canceled because of COVID in 2020. Then in 2021, Arkansas ended up going 9-4 and won the Outback Bowl, but Burks opted out before the 2022 NFL Draft. He ended up going 18th overall in a draft that was super wide receiver heavy early on. Drake London went at 8, and then from 10 to 12, it went Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, and Jamison Williams. Then Jahan Dotson was at 16th. So Burks ended up being the 6th wide receiver off the board with that Eagles pick. It's safe to say that Treylon Burks had a pretty rocky start to the pros. He suffered turf toe in week 4 and ended up going on injured reserve and missed 4 games. He returned in week 5, and then in week 6 had his first 100-yard game, going for 111 on 7 receptions against the Packers. In his second game, he scored his first NFL touchdown the next week against the Bengals, but it wasn't exactly how you'd expect. He actually recovered a Derrick Henry fumble in the end zone after Henry had a huge gain off of a screen and then fumbled. Burks did actually catch a touchdown the next week against the Eagles though. He did then miss 2 weeks with a concussion, and injuries were an issue. He only played in 11 games. He recorded 33 receptions for 444 yards and a touchdown. And in year 2, the injury problems were still a thing. He suffered a sprained ACL and a joint practice against the Vikings, but did get healthy in time for week 1. But then, of course, he suffered another ACL injury and missed time anyway. Not to mention, he also suffered a concussion a couple weeks later and missed some more time. Burks didn't score a touchdown all year and had a game-high 76 yards that came in week 2 against the Chargers. He played in 11 games overall with 16 receptions for 221 yards. Then then last season, he tore his ACL in practice ahead of week 7 and ended up playing in just 5 games. He caught just 4 passes for 34 yards. It was truly disappointing. Then this offseason, he fractured his collarbone in training camp, and 2 days later, he was waived and then reverted to injured reserve after going unclaimed. Safe to say that Burks just didn't live up to filling the shoes of A.J. Brown. I mean, A.J. Brown was already great before he got traded to the Eagles, but then he just went to a different level. Probably because he actually had good quarterback play. He was a second-round pick in 2019 by the Titans coming out of Ole Miss, and in 3 years with the Titans, he played 47 games with 2,995 yards and 24 touchdowns on 185 receptions. He was good, and he was a big part of why the Titans made the AFC Championship in 2019, where they eventually lost to the Chiefs. That was that Ryan Tannehill Comeback Player of the Year season, and Derrick Henry rushed for 1,540 yards and 16 touchdowns, both leading the league. But in Philly, Brown was even better. Now, it certainly helps to have Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, and really just a good offense overall, but in year 1, he had a career-high 1,496 yards and matched a career-high with 11 touchdowns on 88 receptions. Brown was a first-team All-Pro for the first time and has been every year since. He also ended up making his second of 3 career Pro Bowls. But more importantly, the Eagles made the Super Bowl but lost to the Chiefs. But Brown just kept getting better in 2023. He had a career-high 106 catches for 1,456 yards and 7 touchdowns. The Eagles went 11-6 and lost in the wild card to the Buccaneers, but of course, they turned around and made the Super Bowl again last year and actually won the Super Bowl this time against the Chiefs. In the game, Brown had a touchdown and 43 yards on 3 catches. He had another good regular season too, with 97 receptions for 1,079 yards and 7 touchdowns. He truly has been an absolute beast, while Treylon Burks hasn't even been able to break the 500-yard mark in a season. A.J. Brown is a top NFL wide receiver, and Treylon Burks is an NFL draft bust. It's really as simple as that. The Titans made quite literally one of the worst draft day trades in NFL history by trading away and ascending A.J. Brown for an unproven rookie. I mean, truthfully, I do not wish anybody to fail in their journey in the league. I really don't. I want to see everybody succeed, but in retrospect, the Titans look like idiots. And honestly, they've fallen off really hard since. The Titans literally went from Super Bowl contenders to the bottom feeders of the league. And it's really not hard to tell when you look back on it that it all started with that trade. Thank you guys so much for watching and making it to the end of the video. If you like this one, make sure to hit that like button. It helps out a lot and tells us that you're liking what we're making. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications if you don't already to not miss a single piece of content from us in this season. The NFL season is here and we're ready to supply you guys with content all season long. So if you don't want to miss any of it, press subscribe, hit that notification. If you want more of me, you can follow me on all my social medias at DurnPlays, DURNPLAYZ, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, you know it. You can find me. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, I love you. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.